Alrighty, so I think we should start. Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on RingCentral for Salesforce. My name is Sukhandeep Basanti and I'm part of the product marketing team at RingCentral. Today I have with me from our platform product team Shrikumar and Andy from Salesforce. So some general housekeeping instructions here. So during the webinar, all attendees are placed in view and listen only mode. If you've noticed, you can't unmute yourselves, but you can send us your questions anytime using the Q&A feature on the bottom of your screens. We'll be responding to as many questions as we can get to at the end of the webinar, but don't worry, if we don't get to your question live, someone from our team will reach out to you and your question will get answered in the next couple of days, so don't worry about that. So moving on to agenda. So today's agenda includes a quick introduction to RingCentral for Salesforce. For those that are new to RingCentral or this integration, Shrikumar will then walk us through a demo of our latest 6.7 release. Also, he's going to be speaking to our newest integrated feature, High Velocity Sales, with Andy Kung from Salesforce. He'll then give a quick rundown on what we have coming up next. We will conclude with some customer testimonials we believe you'll be able to relate to, and then open the webinar up for Q&A. Just really quickly, I did get a question if this recording will be available after the meeting to view, and we will be sending out an email tomorrow to all attendees with a video recording, so don't worry on that. So let's get started. So what's RingCentral for Salesforce? So RingCentral for Salesforce is actually a powerful integration for organizations that use Salesforce's customer relationship management solutions. So if you're a sales or service cloud user, this integration embeds key RingCentral capabilities to your Salesforce accounts. So you can get more work done from the one app and interface you spend your most time on. As we move forward, we'll discuss how this integration improves sales conversion, increases call efficiency, and drive sales closure, all while improving the quality of your customer interactions. Besides helping to get more work done faster, the integration also helps users work the way they want. That means that users can access all the features in Salesforce Classic and Lightning UI, access the integration via the browser of their choice on Windows or Mac, and use any RingCentral endpoint, a desk phone, mobile, or desktop app. This integration is available for all RingCentral Office Premium and Ultimate customers at no additional cost. You will also require Salesforce Professional Edition or above. So some essential features that this integration offers. So it's the ability to click to call, a customer information screen pops for incoming calls, the ability to automatically log notes and calls and schedule RingCentral video meetings. Some new features that have been added in the last few updates include offline call logging, analytics that contain comprehensive reports and dashboards. With this new ability to actually customize a dashboard in the native Salesforce report. And again, this integration is accessible on Mac or Windows and is compatible with both Salesforce Lightning and Classic and can also be used in the Salesforce mobile app. So introducing HVS. So we really wanted to talk about our newest feature that just launched a couple of weeks ago, actually. So High Velocity Sales, or HVS as we call it. So now the RingCentral for Salesforce integration supports the HVS app in Salesforce. High Velocity Sales is a streamlined solution tailored to inside sales teams, including sales development and business development reps. And it's really designed to speed up the sales process. You can use features like click to call right from within your work queue and log an HVS disposition so that a sales cadence can move forward. Now that was a really quick overview of the features, so don't worry, Shrikumar is going to dive much deeper into how those features work up next in this demo. So Shrikumar, I'm passing it over to you.
Thank you, Sukhandeep. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on What's New in RingCentral for Salesforce webinar. I am Shrikumar Subramaniam, and I lead the product management on the RingCentral Contact Center and key office integrations. So with that, let me bring up the Salesforce screen. Okay, so our audience today comprises of a mix of participants, who are familiar with this integration and have used it, and some of y'all who are new to this integration. So in order to cover the spectrum of audience today, what I'm going to do is walk you all through all of the features of RingCentral and take you all through all the key features, and then kind of jump into HVS. Andy at that point will give an introduction to HVS, and then I'll take back to the demo of the HVS functionality within the integration. For the benefit of the administrators on this call, I'm going to quickly take you all through how do you all access the Salesforce integration, how do you all go with the installation, what are the key steps in ensuring that your configuration of the integration is smooth, and also you all can assign the integration to all the sales members. So let's take a quick look at that. So RingCentral integration for Salesforce integration is available from the app gallery, the RingCentral app gallery. You can also access it from the Salesforce App Exchange. The installation is fairly straightforward. You can start by clicking on Get It Now, follow the sequence of steps, and the installation is fairly straightforward. There is a couple of steps that we have seen customers reach out to us for. And in this webinar, I want to kind of quickly give you all an idea about what are those key steps where it's important to address so that the configuration is correct. So for that, I'll go into the Visualforce page section, go into the Open CTI. Now, one of the key steps is ensuring that the CTI URL is configured correctly, for the administrators here. So what you do is copy this link over here, the Open CTI URL, and then go into call center. Edit the call center and ensure that the CTI adapter URL is pasted over here. Sometimes this URL is incorrect, so that needs to be set correctly. So this is one of the key steps. The other key step that's required is to ensure that all the users are granted access to the call center. So that's done from over here. You can say add more users, from call center, manage users. So once this is done, you can ensure that the CTI widget is visible for all your users on the Lightning and Classic. So here for the demo today, I'm going to be using Lightning, and RingCentral for Salesforce integration is available on the bottom left of the Salesforce page. All of this information that I just mentioned is also available in the RingCentral guide. So under the configure the call center section, everything I spoke about is over here. So you can easily look at this over here. And also the guide is available from the customization guide section, within the App Exchange. So that's where you all can access all of the guides. Also, I wanted to announce over here that in a Q4 timeframe, this configuration step is going to become even more easy. We are going to make the lives of the Salesforce administrator much more easier. We will be rolling out an install wizard, which will automatically configure some of the settings that I showed you all. So you all wouldn't need to go and adjust those settings the way I showed you all right now. So all that would be taken care from an install wizard, making it a breeze to not only install, but also configure your Salesforce integration. With that, I'm going to hop right into the functionalities of the integration. And I'm going to step in to a shoes of a sales rep, and let's look at how RingCentral for Salesforce makes it more productive for a sales rep. So I'm going to try to emulate the functionality of a sales rep here. So this is the Salesforce integration. If I'm using this integration for the first time, there are a few things that I would ensure that I set within the settings section. And some of the key configurations over here is the calling option. So I'll talk a little bit about what are the calling options available. So you can see that that is RingCentral for desktop. So I can leverage my RingCentral soft phone application installed on my operating system, be it Mac or a Windows, to place or receive calls. So essentially, I could leverage my soft phone The other option that I have is my RingCentral desk phone, which is shown as my RingCentral phone over here. Let's say if I'm at my office and I want to use my RingCentral phone on my desk phone to manage calls, then that's possible by selecting this option. During times of COVID or when the team is working from home, they might wish to take their calls from their cell phone or their home phone. So we can always leverage the ring out functionality to ensure that the call is directed to any custom phone that the team would like to use. So in that case, they would enter their custom phone number over here, be it a home phone number or a cell phone number, thereby making it very easy to ring out the call onto their endpoint. For today's demo, I like the soft phone and I'm going to be using that to place the calls. The other key settings over here, which my team uses and which I use, is the presence option. Let's say I'm working with a key lead and I'm going to be on a call and I don't want to be disturbed. I can select the do not disturb option over here. This syncs with all of the RingCentral endpoint, wherein once I set this, I would not be disturbed with an incoming call on any of those endpoints. So that's very handy for me when I'm on critical calls, makes my life easy. I'm going to put this back to available. The other key feature is the Autolog functionality, and you see that there is multiple Autolog settings over here. So let's look at what those do. See, Autolog calls basically logs the call automatically. There are scenarios where the sales rep does not want to actively work on the widget and they are working within Salesforce, but they want all of their call details to be automatically pushed into Salesforce and ensure that every single call is logged. So that's one scenario where you use Autolog calls. Autolog notes also pushes all the details that the rep is typing in within their call log, the note descriptions that they are taking, as they type in would automatically be pushed into the logged activity. Autolog SMS does the same for SMS, ensuring that all of the SMS messages are logged within Salesforce. You all will be seeing the logging functionality during the demo, so I'll take you all through the logging functionality later on. Now, once these settings are taken care of, these are some of the key settings. There are more settings over here. Once these key settings are taken care of, I'm all set to be productive and go about managing my day. Now, let's say I want to make a call to a contact that I recently worked with. There's multiple ways I can make an outbound call. I can go into contact. I can click on the number for James and initiate an outbound call. Alternatively, if I know the name of a lead or a contact, I can just type it in over here and the lookup will happen. I can quickly pick the contact or the lead, make a call. Let's say before even I make a call to James, James reaches out to discuss a quote. So let's see how inbound call works and how do we log an inbound call. So I'm getting an inbound call here. I'm going to answer the call. You will see here that the Salesforce integration automatically has matched the inbound call to James. It has also matched West Coast Shipping as the account that's related to this call. So, it does this real quick and you have all the information at your disposal. Also, during the call, I can choose to pick the disposition of this call. So I can say send quote, and I know that I need to send quote, and I can take that notes over here. Now let's take a look at this. While I'm typing in notes, there are additional details that I might be hearing from James. I can easily do my call controls right from here. I can place the call on mute as I'm listening in to James while I'm typing in the notes. Quickly unmute myself to answer any questions that comes up. I can easily do call controls from here or also put the call on hold and finally end the call. You will see over here that the Autocall Log is enabled, so the call is automatically logged. So if I make any changes over here, you will see that that is automatically saved and reflected into the log activity. Now let's take a look at the call matching in Salesforce. So there are a few criteria in which the call could be matched. So the first way a call is matched is by the fact that the phone number is associated to the contact, lead, account, or whichever entity is there in Salesforce. Now, if you go into West Coast Shipping, you see that this inbound number matches West Coast Shipping. Let's say in some scenarios, if an entity does not have a phone number, but if the incoming call is associated to that account, in this case, James is associated or is the contact associated to the account. And since James called, we pull West Coast Shipping by the virtue of it being associated to this contact. So that's where you have got associated match. So this matches because of two virtues. One, the phone number being associated to the account, and also by the fact that West Coast Shipping is associated to the caller as well. There is one couple of other ways. So if, let's say there is a case that was opened by West Coast Shipping, and I want to log this against the case, but not against the account. In that case, I go into the case and navigate to an entity. The moment I navigate to an entity, that entity is automatically pulled up in the call match. That makes it very easy for reps as they are navigating through Salesforce to log the call against any of the objects within Salesforce. Now, if I have to go into a campaign, and if I pull in, let's say, a different campaign, you will see that that campaign pulls up over here. So, all this makes it very easy for matching any of the contact. Additionally, what you can see is I can also look up an entity within Salesforce. Maybe let's look at some other entity. So I was able to look up organic foods here. So I can type in any of the entities here and also look up that entity within Salesforce. So that also is very handy. And you can look up a lead, contact, or any of the entities in Salesforce. Here you have the option to create an account and also create an opportunity if it doesn't match any of the existing entities in Salesforce. With that, call logging is made super simple. I wrap up my call with James, and I'm going to end the call. So now we all saw how it's very easy to log a call in Salesforce and ensure that all of the call details is logged within Salesforce. Now let's move on to call history. As much as I live and breathe within Salesforce, I also use RingCentral for all of my communications and collaboration. I make a lot of calls, and if, let's say, I'm on a break, today I was on a break and I received a few calls, and I want to make sure that those calls are logged. So we call this as an offline call logging functionality. Now, when I come back into Salesforce, I can see over here very easily by these red dots that these are the calls that are not logged. And these were the ones that I either placed or received while I was away from Salesforce, either on the field or on a break. I want to ensure that I can push these data in. So it's very easy to access these details from the call history. I can click this over here, pick a name or related to match, and ensure that this call log is saved. So for this particular entity, there was no match. I can go in and create a new lead or a contact over here and match the entity that way. So it's very easy to save log calls which are taken offline while I was not within Salesforce. Also, for call logs that were already logged, it's very easy to access the activity. So I can just click over here and quickly access the call log details that was logged. So that makes it very simple to go to that particular record right from the call history. Also, it's very easy to call the user back, the customer back, or send them a quick message. And that's like also available. In case, here you saw that Since this record exists in Salesforce, you can go into the record and you can directly access the record from here. In case if the caller is new, you can right from here add an account, lead, contact, or an opportunity. So that also is very straightforward to create a record within Salesforce for someone who is calling in for the first time. Now, as I said, I'm using RingCentral for all of my communication and collaboration, be it a phone call that I need to make to my lead or a customer, or be it text messages that I exchange with them, or even schedule meetings for some of the demos that we need to conduct for our customers. So it makes it very easy. So I use all of the calling, text, and video functionality. I might also get text messages, I might get voicemails. So there are so many different communications that happens through various mediums, and I can access all of those right here within the Salesforce integration. I don't have to leave Salesforce. I don't have to leave this widget here. I can access all of the communications right from here. I can access my voicemail from here. I can look at my fax. I can even look at my text messages. Not only can I see the text message over here, I can just send text and I can look up a contact over here. So let's say if I want, the same way we did for call, if I want to send a message to Ray, I can send it right from here. Also, if I want to look into the details of the message, I can go in over here, and also I can log the SMS into Salesforce. So this helps me manage all of my RingCentral communication right from Salesforce. Now we have a scenario where I need to schedule a demo. So let's see, this was my previous meeting that I scheduled. So West Coast shipping, I need to schedule a demo for West Coast shipping. So what I'm going to do is, so I select my date, I select my time, select the duration. There are advanced settings for security. I can enable password. I can do everything that's available in the RingCentral video meetings, and then schedule this meeting right from here. So when I schedule this meeting for folks in my team who use the Salesforce events to manage all their events in the day, it's straightforward. It opens up an event. I can save this event right over here in Salesforce and manage it right here. For some of the members in my team who prefer to use either Gmail or Outlook or other mail clients, they can copy the meeting details right into the clipboard and send the meeting invite through their mail client like Gmail or Outlook or any other. So that makes it super simple to even schedule meetings for demos and other purposes. So now we have covered all of the key features. Now let's look at the day. I wrap up my day reaching out to my leads, getting calls from various contacts. Now, at end of the day, I would like to see what was my performance and my team's performance through the day. So we have analytics reports for it. So I click on analytics reports and I get the entire summary, not only for my team, not only for myself, but also for my team. So I can see the total calls made by the team, what is the average call duration that the team spent during the day, and how many average calls per day was there. Also, I get a clear breakdown of the dispositions. So how many quotes requests were there, how many of them were calls. So these values could be customized, and you will get breakdown by all your disposition values. So you know exactly what is the health of the total calls that were made and what direction is the business going in. Also, we get a clear breakdown of how many calls were inbound versus how many were outbound. Now, all these great insights is also available on a per team member basis. Like, so if you have a team, this is available, the breakdown is available for the team. So you can see the total calls, average calls per day, average call duration, a breakdown for the whole team over here. This is also available in a tabular form over here. Now I want to just look at how Jamie performed today and look at the same stats for Jamie. So I click on this and now I get the breakdown just for Jamie. So I know what is Jamie's performance for the day, how many calls did he cover, and what's the breakdown of other stats. So that makes it very productive. I know how many calls I made and how much did my team do and where we are heading to. So all that great insights is available from the analytics report. And with that, now I'm going to hand it off to Andy to talk about HVS.
All right. Well, thank you for inviting me again. My name is Andy Kong. I am from Sales Cloud Product Management, and I lead the overall voice experience within Sales Cloud. I know Shrikumar is going to show you a demo of the RingCentral integration with high velocity sales, or HVS. But in case this is the first time that you hear about high velocity sales, I do want to give you a quick summary of what high velocity sales is. High velocity sale is a add-on product for Salesforce, and it is designed for inside sales teams, or really any teams that operates in a fast-paced environment. So if you think about your own inside sales team, as a manager, I want to be able to quickly, onboard any new team members. I want everybody on my team to follow the best practices and use the tried and proven contents in my outreach. And as a sales rep, I just wanted to focusing on, making as many phone calls and making as many connections a day and be super productive. So we design high velocity sales for these specific use cases. As a manager, as you can see on the screenshot here, as a manager, I can design what we call a sales cadence. So for example, I can say, hey, for the leads or contacts from this particular webinar, I want my team to first reach out with a call with this particular call script and follow up with the email with this template. Maybe I want to wait for a day and then follow up with another phone call. And maybe based on the outcome of that call, I want to send this email instead of that email. So as a manager, I'm able to design different sales cadences and iterate on what's the best sales strategies for a particular campaign, as an example. And from the sales rep perspective, as you can see on the left side of the screenshot, all I see are all the leads and contacts I need to reach out, and I know exactly which step they're on and what I need to do with what content at what time, right? So as a rep, I can just focus on this list and just dial one after another. And as part of high velocity sales, we also include other AI features such as lead scoring. We also have integration with your email. And we are really excited to partner up with the RingCentral team to build this integration with the RingCentral dialer so that you can leverage RingCentral and be super productive within the high velocity sales experience. So with that, I will pass back to Shrikumar, and I'll be available to answer questions afterwards.
Thank you, Andy. So before I go to the what's next section, I'm going to hop back into the demo. So give me a moment here while I share my Salesforce environment again. Okay, we are back into Salesforce. Before I hop into showing how you can leverage RingCentral along with HVS, I'm going to quickly, for the administrators' benefit here, show how to enable HVS to work with, how to enable RingCentral to work with HVS. So we will go into the admin UI section, and I can also talk about a few other things while I'm on the admin UI. So to access the admin UI, the administrators would go into Setup, and look for Visual Force page. And over here, I'm going to filter Open CTA. So this is one way to access, oh, sorry. I need to go into admin UI. So go into the admin UI, and here is where you will access the admin UI page for RingCentral. To to enable all the settings. And while we are here, this also is available from the RingCentral guide. So if you all need to reach to this page, one another way is to kind of just go to the link that's been put on the guide, will take you over here. There are a few other settings before I hop into HVS, since I'm in this page going to talk about those. So there is screen pop setting. So if we want to create a global setting to bring the screen pop up while the call is ringing or while the call is answered, that can be done. So you can say that I want the screen pop while the call is ringing, or I want the screen pop while the call is answered. So that could be set from over here. Also, another global setting that could be done, which is to override per user setting, is the auto create call log on. So if you do this, for every call that rings, the log will be automatically created. In that case, for the sales reps who are using the integration, or service reps who are using the integration, the widget would have locked down the auto call with it showing as enabled. And that's when you know that the administrator has kind of enabled this. The other key customizations or the log customization, this kind of shows what entities or what fields that you want to log needs to be brought into the widget. So there are some fields that we have by default in the widget, and you can bring in any of the custom fields that if you all wish to use for disposition into the widget from here. Now with that, let's go into high velocity sales setting. If you have a high velocity sales enabled for your org, you can now enable RingCentral to work with high velocity sales, and you will click enable HVS mode over here. Once this is done, there are a few other customizations that's available for HVS. So we provide an HVS disposition field. So this is provided by default by RingCentral. If you wish to use this, this has the same values that's set within HVS disposition, and we bring in those same values over here. Alternatively, if you all wish to use custom field for HVS dispositioning, that also can be selected over here. One another key functionality is to be able to mark the HVS disposition as required. And we kind of auto-select this, and this is the default that it's selected because that's the most common scenario, is where you want the disposition field to be selected by the rep while logging the call. That's thereby moving the cadence forward. For rare occasions where you don't need that, always there is this functionality over here. One another key functionality is the ability to redirect incoming call to voicemail. Now, for my inside sales team who are working on HVS, they want to be focused and not be disturbed with an inbound call. So this makes it very useful for those reps who want to be not disturbed while they are on an HVS call. This will redirect any inbound call to voicemail. And then there are a few standard configurations for HVS that is over here, the details of which are available in the guide. Now with that, let's go into HVS. So we'll access HVS over here. I'll click on the HVS app. Here we are within HVS. Recently, we had a West Coast campaign that just closed last week. Now I want to reach out to the sales, to the leads. So that is our core objective, is to reaching out to the leads as soon as possible as the campaign just closed. Here is a cadence. The cadence basically starts with an initial outreach call. Based on the call result, if there is a meaningful connect, what we would like to do is send out an email to the customer and to our SE team for a demo. If there is not a meaningful connect, we do another final outreach attempt. So this is a very simplified cadence. The cadence could be more complex, and essentially what RingCentral will do is make it very seamless to reach out to a lead and move this cadence forward. Now let's see how RingCentral comes into play, making your life much more easier. So I have a lead over here. I'm going to call the lead. So you see that I've called the lead. So I'm in a call with the lead. So now what happens is I've ended the call. So we have HVS disposition over here. You can, as usual, select your subject value, or you can even configure in HVS case, since you already have a disposition field over here, you can choose to remove the subject from the widget. And you saw that how that can be done from over here, from the admin UI page. You can remove subject and just have your default disposition show up. So that's very straightforward. Also, if you try to save, since we mark the disposition as mandatory over here, you can see that if I click save, it says that mandatory fields are required. So it wants the rep that they need to select the disposition. Now I select the disposition has a meaningful connect because Ray wants a demo and we are all set. So I'll say save, and you will see that the disposition moves forward and I'm ready to make my next call. So you saw that without leaving RingCentral for Salesforce integration, we instantly were able to send out the next step and move the cadence forward and log the calls seamlessly. Now let's see what's coming up in RingCentral for Salesforce in the future releases. So I'm going to quickly share what's coming in RingCentral for Salesforce in the upcoming release. So some of the features that are coming up is first the WebRTC feature. The WebRTC is a feature to basically bring in integrated phone within Salesforce. Now you saw that there was a dependency to have a soft phone installed along with the widget that's available in Salesforce. So you needed the soft phone to be deployed on the desktop. Now for many of our customers who prefer not to have a soft phone in addition to the widget itself, we are going to bring in all of the calling capability that's available in RingCentral phone right into the Salesforce widget using the WebRTC technology. So that makes it very seamless to be able to place calls using WebRTC and right within the Salesforce widget. Also, as you saw, a lot of our customers schedule demo meetings and other meetings with their customers right from the Salesforce integration. Now you saw how you can quickly create or schedule a meeting from the Salesforce widget. Also, there's a desire for our customers to be able to schedule or even start an instant meeting from any of the lead contacts within Salesforce, or let's say if they are trying to schedule an event, they would like to schedule the event as an RingCentral video meeting. So that functionality would make it very easy for our users to be able to quickly manage the meeting right from Salesforce. Another key functionality is the automated call logging. Now, you all saw that while I was on a break, I took calls. I had to come back into Salesforce, go into the call history, and then it made it very easy, to see that there were some calls which were not logged while I was offline, and I came in and manually logged those calls. We plan to add a feature where we would be able to log the calls automatically, even if it's taken while I'm offline from Salesforce, thereby not needing me to come back into Salesforce and manually log the calls. This is called fully automated call logging that will log every call that's been taken from any RingCentral endpoint seamlessly into Salesforce. So that will add further to the productivity of the sales reps. And finally, I also want to talk about our contact center integration. So I lead the contact center integration for Salesforce, and I'm happy to announce that we have our contact center Salesforce integration in beta right now. Please check the integration out on the RingCentral app gallery. If you are interested for a demo, you can fill in a form over there and submit the request. With that, I will hand it off to Suk.
All right, thanks, Shri. So that was a fantastic demo, and thank you so much for going through that for the customers. Soon we're going to be getting to the Q&A. So during the demo, I'm sure you were able to find unique ways in which this integration can impact your business processes and workflows. So with this integration, as you can see, you can reduce the need to turn to other tools while working in your everyday business apps. Repetitive, tedious tasks are automated for added efficiency and ease of use. With functions like click to call, users spend more time closing deals and servicing clients and less time switching apps or correcting misdials. Users can easily create accounts, leads, contacts, and opportunities while on active calls and log notes and schedule meetings from within Salesforce to speed up interactions. Workflow automation and streamlined communications improve and boost agent help desk and team productivity. Did you know like 60 minutes of productivity a day actually can be regained by those that utilize RingCentral for Salesforce when Salesforce is their primary business application, which is pretty significant when you really think about the 8-hour workday. Or now that we're working from home, it's really like 12-hour workdays, but let's not go there. So other benefits are from a security and control perspective. So the rep's phone number remains company owned even in situations when they're a remote employee. Access to company data is restricted, and if they were to leave the company, someone on the team can actually easily transition and take over their instance immediately. And let's not forget about HVS. With this capability, users and agents are able to deliver a really quick and customized and personalized response to each caller, and they have easy access to their prior call history. So quick actions can be taken, allowing a faster response, and that ensures customer satisfaction. So with that, I just really quickly, I know a lot of people are itching for the Q&A, so I'm just going to quickly go through a couple of customer testimonials from customers who incorporated the RingCentral for Salesforce integration and found success. So first, we have Toughshed, who was looking for a communication system that would easily integrate with Salesforce, which was their new CRM integration at the time. And as you can see, they were pretty pleased with the results. Things like click to dial and call analytics just worked right away versus other integrations that they had tried. And second, we have Goosehead Insurance. So for them, they already had a phone system in place, but it didn't really integrate with other workflow apps, which was really slowing down things for their frontline reps because every call they made, they had to look for the number and the call history manually. So once they switched over and implemented RingCentral for Salesforce, they said automating that process alone saved their reps a couple hours each day. So that concludes our portion of the talking for the webinar. We hope you give this integration a try. The latest 6.7 version is available to download on the RingCentral app gallery today. And with that, I'm going to open up Q&A. So I know we have a lot of questions here, so I'm just going to kind of go through and start reading them out loud. So first, we have Stephanie asked, if users are using the RingCentral for Google app, will this work? So will this integration work?
Yeah, so there are many customers of ours who actually use both the Google integration as well as Salesforce. So if they choose to use the Google integration as the telephony endpoint to make and receive calls, as far as they are signed within Salesforce, they can see the call log pull up and log the call from Salesforce.
Okay, awesome. Next, we have from Bobby. I'm glad this is signed up for HVS. Does that include full functionality with their Einstein call coaching?
No. So we have the basic functionality enabled for HVS. We do not support Einstein call coaching at this point, but we are actively working with Andy here to look at that and bring that into our roadmap.
Okay. So from John, is there something that will cost more money? Is this something, so is HVS something that will cost more money from Salesforce or from RingCentral?
High velocity sales is a pay add-on that's available to add on to Salesforce Enterprise and above.
Yeah, and there is no additional cost from RingCentral on that.
So next we have from Eric, what object do the Autolog calls and SMS log to?
So it depends on what is picked for, within the name and related to field. So let's say for a call, you pick the name for a lead, like within the name you pick a lead, and within the related to you pick a opportunity or an account, then the activity is logged against each of these. So if you go into the lead or within the account, you can access the activity from there.
Okay. So from Marlene, how did he get the RingCentral button on the bottom of the sales page?
So I believe that you're talking about the RingCentral app access on Lightning on the bottom left of Salesforce. So that is obtained within Lightning, by assigning user to the call center. So once that is done, the user will be able to see access the CTI on the bottom left of Lightning. Within Classic, it's available within the left pane of the Salesforce. So that's where it's available.
So from Russ, is this globally configurable and lockable, or does each rep have control over the auto logging and other features at all times?
Yeah, as you saw, this is configurable on the admin UI section. And what happens is over there, if the admin chooses to override the auto logging for all the reps, then, every rep will see auto log turned on for them. And, if they turn it off, then every rep has the option to either switch it on or off.
Okay. So from Connor, we can currently only use the RingCentral phone app to call from Salesforce. When will we be able to use a regular RingCentral app to call from Salesforce?
Yeah, so we are working to enable the Salesforce integration to work with RingCentral app. So that will be rolled out in Q3. So in fact, you will see that being rolled out within the next few weeks.
Okay, awesome. And let's see, from Total Comfort, how does the integration deal with duplications inside of Salesforce?
Yeah, so when the call match happens, you saw in the demo that, pretty much there was only one match for an inbound call. And in many cases, the call could match to either multiple contacts or multiple cases if it's like a service scenario, right? So in that case, the rep has to go in and pick the correct entity that they want to log it against. So let's say if the call comes in from a customer and there are like 10 different cases that matches, then the rep has to go in and pick the right case that they want to log the call against.
Okay. So from Steve, how are the teams defined in Salesforce for the analytics report? Can a supervisor view these reports as well as the agents themselves?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we leverage the roles and privileges within Salesforce setup. So there is a section to configure roles and privileges. And once the role hierarchy, rather it's called role hierarchy. So once the role hierarchy is defined within Salesforce by the administrator and the users are assigned the roles based on that hierarchy, we automatically pull that relationship, and a sales lead can see all the details for their team, but the individual reps can only see information that's for themselves.
Okay, and this is another question regarding analytics. So from Bobby, he said, great dashboard. Can it drill down to the actual calls and get to the call recordings to listen to them?
No, not at this point, but that's definitely in our radar. That is something that we might target for early 2021. We want to kind of bring in those level of functionalities where you all get more insights on drilling into a specific call, as you said, and pulling in the log call records, or maybe like even look at the activity details for that call.
Okay.
So we'll be building that.
And then there's a question on HVS from Dawn. So does HVS have a view like Sales Console where I'm dialing off the list in the left column, but the right 2/3 of the screen shows me the details of each record as I work through the list?
Yes, in fact, HVS will be a Sales Console app within Salesforce. Or you can add some of the component to another app that you created, which is of type Sales Console layout.
Okay. And then we have, okay, so I know a lot of people ask this question and it's been answered, but I just kind of want to re-answer this question. So App Exchange lists a price of $34.99 for the integration. Is this an additional cost for using the integration? I know a few people actually asked this and I just kind of want it answered live.
Sorry, Suk?
Yeah, sorry. App Exchange lists the price at $34.99 for the integration. Is this an additional cost for using the integration?
No, there is no additional cost. The only prerequisites, as Suk said, is to be in the right tier of RingCentral. And once you're in that premium tier or above, Salesforce integration comes along with that.
Okay. And then we have another HVS question. So is HVS plus RingCentral available to end Salesforce Developer Edition, or does it have to be in Salesforce paid account?
So on the Salesforce side, as I mentioned earlier, you can only add high velocity sales as an add-on to a enterprise edition or above.
Okay. And then can updates for the RC plugin for Salesforce be set to automatically upgrade with new releases?
No. So this is something that we send announcement out when we have new releases. We typically don't want to push upgrades automatically to the Salesforce org, just in case, these are sensitive, and we don't want to automatically upgrade the customer's environment without their without them being aware of the upgrade. So this is more of a manual upgrade that the administrators have to schedule.
Okay. So next from Bobby, are these enhancements being discussed on what's next planned for Q4 launch? He just wants the timing on each.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. So the WebRTC functionality in the what's next section that you saw is being targeted for Q4. The video functionality enhancement to be able to start an instant meeting, schedule a meeting right from within a Salesforce contact lead, that is targeted for end of Q3. And then the other functionalities are the Engage Voice is of course already in beta, and we are targeting to go GA in Q4. So, and also the admin functionality, the installation wizard that I spoke about, right, which will make the installation of the integration seamless. That is also targeted for Q4 of this year.
Okay. And Russ is asking, where was that Salesforce dashboard?
I believe you're asking about the analytics report, and that's available from the settings. Okay, so I see. Okay, so that's analytics settings, right? So that's available from within the widget. There is a settings section, and where you went in and changed the call settings and presence and other things. Right there, the first item in that menu is basically analytics reports. So it's within the settings section of the widget.
Okay. And then we have something from Ross. It says, I installed the upgrade as I had the previous version, closed all SF like Salesforce tabs, reopened, but still have the same old version.
Okay, so one of the key steps to ensure that you don't land in that scenario is to configure the CTA URL. So though the URL might be already populated, so you still need to go into the Visualforce section, as I showed, and go into the Open CTA URL, copy the URL, go back into the call center, and then paste the CTA URL within the call center. So that step is key to ensure that you are on the latest version. The specifics of this is the details are within the guide. So you all can refer to the guide for that.
Okay. And I think we have time for a couple more questions. And then Obviously, if your questions are not answered, we're going to answer them. Just look out for an email from somebody from our team, and we're going to get through all of the questions because I know we have a lot coming in right now. So just a couple more. So I have followed all instructions in the CTI guide, but the side phone is not displaying inside my Salesforce. Is there a specific phone number at RingCentral to get support for the Salesforce integration products specifically? Thanks.
Yeah, so I would start with opening a support case with RingCentral, and that the support team would reach out, once you all provide the information. If again, following the two key steps that I mentioned during this call is the essence to getting the integration work correctly. But for whatever reason, if based on your environment, if you still have any issues to bring the integration up, always start with opening up a support case. Also, there is email, Caroline or Suk, you can mention about the email where customers could reach out to for any escalating any issues that they are having, which is not resolved.
So somebody from our team, Caroline, is actually putting in chat for everybody to see, just like the email that you need, and also where you can get the integration if you don't have it already. So we're going to put that in the chat just for those that aren't aware. And then so last question, and I think this is pretty important because a couple of people asked this. Because as you saw, some of these features were actually, you might not be able to have them or you might not see them. And that might be because you are on a different version of Salesforce. So how can I tell what version of RingCentral I am using in Salesforce?
Got it. So if you're the administrator of sales, if you're a Salesforce administrator, then the version of the package can be viewed from the installed packages section within Salesforce setup. For end users, if they want to be sure on which version they are, the version number is listed under the settings at the bottommost line item over there. After all the setting options, you will have the version number listed over there.
Okay, so that concludes the Q&A with just 1 minute left remaining. So thank you so much for those that attended and stayed till the end. We really appreciate it. Again, we're going to answer all of the questions after this webinar is over. You'll also get a recording of this webinar tomorrow in an email from us. And we hope you give this integration a try. The latest 6.7 version is available to download from our RingCentral app gallery or the Salesforce app exchange.